Hey Christine, do you have any relatives with notable stories?
I really thought about this question, but I don't really. My family is very boring apparently because I don't have any notable stories. So I do have a funny story about my grandpa. Because he used to work at a cookie company here, I think in Dordrecht somewhere, maybe, not sure. But he would always bring my mom broken cookies because those were allowed to be taken home, and they would call that breuk. But my mom still tells the stories of like whenever we have a green light, like when we're driving somewhere, like down a road, and it's red, and then suddenly when we get there, it turns green, and then my mom says, "Oh, Grandpa must have given them breuk." So the light turned green, which is cute. Very cute. Yes.
Yeah.
And then I have another story of my dad. He used to work at what's it called again?
Unilever.
No, at the ice cream. What I just said.
Cornetto.
Thank you very much. He used to work at Cornetto, and he was allowed to eat as much Cornettos as he would want.
That sounds healthy.
No, but it was like a tactic from the company. Like if you allow people to eat as much as they want, they eventually turn tired of it, like get tired of the taste, and then they never eat it again. So that's also what happened to my dad. And just he ate like a lot of Cornettos, and then he was done with it, and then he worked.
Is
there.
It genetic? Will you eat a Cornetto?
I love Cornettos.
Okay.
So it's not genetic, no. But those were my kind of notable stories. But
fascinating.
Thank you. What about you, Kira? Do you have any like relatives with notable stories or?
I wanted to share two of them, and one we have to go back. I think both of them actually we have to go back really, really far. Mm-hmm. So they're both from my mum's side of the family, and I think one of my like great grandfathers or something. He was the first man to drive a train through my mum's hometown.
Wow.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
So interesting. But I was leading you in with like the less interesting story.
Okay.
So he was a man notable in this very small Irish town, but also one of my ancestors many centuries ago was a pirate.
Oh my god, that's even better. Like, what was his name? Do you have his name?
No.
Was it Jack Sparrow? No.
It was Blackbeard. No. It should be Redbeard, right? If he was Irish. No, but anyway, Christine, this is what I was led to believe, like all throughout my childhood, that I had this ancestor who was a pirate. But what you need to know about my family is that we're a long line of Irish Catholics, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what I learned when I was older is that running away to sea was just a euphemism for he ran away with another woman. And it was better to be called a pirate than to be called somebody who left their partner. So I think he was actually just a man who cheated on his wife.
Oh my god.
And they were like, no, he wouldn't do that. He just ran away to sea.
He was a pirate. He was a pirate. Oh.
So there you go. I'm from a long line of pirates and train drivers.
That's really cool. That's actually really cool. I like that. That's actually a perfect story because today we are talking about falling for the wrong guys, your family, erotic literature.
Your family.
And kissing your friend's mom. Season 1, episode 11 of Friends.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome to Friends of Friends, the ultimate Friends rewatch podcast. I'm Kira Murphy.
And I'm Christine Schumacher, and we are back rewatching the entire Friends series.
Why? Well, because it's certainly better than cheating on your family. And number 2, because of course we want to watch it with you.
So each week we'll be rewatching an episode of Friends, talking about it, sharing behind the scenes content, and discussing anything and everything about the show that shaped an entire generation. So, before we get into it, Kira, if your week was an episode of Friends, what would it be called?
I think this week would be called the one with the concerts.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest with you. But one thing which maybe our listeners don't know is that I am a massive fan of live music. Mm-hmm. I always have been, and anytime I see that like one of the artists that I like listening to is playing in the country, I will go and see it. So when I was living back in London, there was loads of live music there. I would go to like 50 gigs a year.
Wow.
Now there's slightly less, but I still, anytime I see an artist, I'm like, yes, I need to be there. And actually, since we last spoke, I had 2 concerts in a row. So I first went to see Tate McRae.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, she's this, I don't even know what to call her. I was going to say up and coming pop girl, but she's already
she's pretty
there.
Pretty high up,
Super catchy songs. It was a really, really nice one. She's an incredible dancer, and it was like astonishing to see this woman who can both do dance moves that like my body would cry if I tried to do them, and sing perfectly at the same time. So that was super fun. And then earlier this week, I went to go see our queen, Dua Lipa.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Dua Lipa.
The
uninitiated. And this was my first time seeing Dua Lipa. I was planning to go see her a couple of years ago, but it didn't work out. So this was like, finally, I get to see her on tour. And just again, like, firstly, she's a stunning woman. I was just like enraptured. I was like, oh my God, how can you be that beautiful? And her voice, insane. Like, also live.
I love that when people are like singing so effortlessly.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
But you know what? Actually, I think my favorite thing about the Dua Lipa concert was like, you could kind of tell that she wasn't super comfortable with dancing and with choreography. Yeah. I don't think it comes naturally to her. Yeah. And this is not to say that she's not a good dancer, because it's, again, my body would cry. But it's like the fact that maybe it didn't look like it came naturally made her so endearing. And it's so easy to view celebrities as not real people and like perfect. But I was like, oh my God, that's actually a real person, and she's amazing. And like, she's selling out arena tours, and I also find it a little bit scary to dance in front of people, and look at her doing it. Yeah. So if she can do it, I can do it. So yes, I was very inspired by the concerts that I went to. I had a great time. So I apologize if I have bags under my eyes, but it's been a few late nights.
Yeah,
so.
I can understand, definitely.
Yeah, so fun week for me. And how about you, Christine? If your week was an episode of Friends, what would it be called?
Probably the one where I gave blood, because...
I thought you were going to say gave birth.
No, no, I am not pregnant. Neither I was in the past, so no babies here.
Okay.
I was giving blood yesterday for the first time, and it was actually a fine experience. I thought it was way worse.
Why did you think it was going to be worse?
Nah, they said they were, at least I heard stories also from my twin sister where she kind of like almost passed out, and I was like, oh my God, am I gonna pass out? But I didn't, because I ate a good breakfast and drank a lot of water, so that's always the best thing to do. The sting, like when she put the needle in my arm, that was quite painful.
Oh, did it hurt?
Yeah, because my veins are quite deep in my arm.
Ooh.
So she kind of had to move it around a little bit. So that was kind of like, like, please don't. But,
lovely.
But my blood flow was great.
Great.
So now,
how much did they take from you?
500 milliliters.
Oh, wow. Ew. So, I mean, that's great. But I'm just like, I'm looking at my water bottle and I'm imagining that full of Christine's blood.
No.
So
don't do that. That's not a good thing to do.
No. But did you get like a sports drink and some cookies afterwards?
Yeah, I got hot chocolate. That was what I was able to get from the machine. The lady helped me. She was very nice. And there was like a whole bunch of snacks and stuff there, but I was like, still full from my breakfast. So I was like, nah, I don't need anything. I'm good. But my sister usually like hoards, like she grabs everything and then just puts it in her bag.
That's very pleasant.
Yeah, so that's what she does. But I am a kind person.
Nice.
So I didn't take anything, but maybe next time. Who knows? But it was a good experience, and I'm happy that I could be that I was able to help someone else with my blood. So that's good.
Great.
So that was my week, I guess.
So I always absolutely love hearing about your week, Christine. And honestly, this has got me interested in like what all our listeners do for their week. So if you guys want to share what your weeks would be called if they were an episode of Friends, please do drop us a DM on Instagram at FOFPodOfficial or
through our email, which is FOFPodOfficial@gmail.com.
Well, I certainly hope you have enough energy for today's episode, Christine.
I do. I drank a lot of water and ate a lot, so it's all good.
Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah. So this week we'll be discussing Season 1, Episode 11, The One with Mrs. Bing. Originally aired on January 5th, 1995, this episode was written by Alexa Junge? How do I pronounce that name?
I don't know. I've never met her. Junge?
Let's just say Young. Yeah, that's better. Young. And directed by James Burrows.
Oh, that's good. That's a name that you know how to say. Good. We've said it enough. Well, in addition to our regular cast, now I have to say all the names. We have Morgan Fairchild as Nora Tyler Bing, Cosimo Fusco as Paolo, David Saderholm as Coma Guy, and Jay Leno starring as himself.
And I have a quick Friends fact for you because
I was hoping for a long one.
Well, yeah, I don't know what it is. Just listen. Because you just mentioned Jay Leno, whatever. But Tonight with Jay Leno is also like a famous Tonight show in America.
It was,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, it was filmed in Burbank, California on the same NBC studio block as Friends, which is kind of funny. And Jay Leno doesn't only appear...
I love how you're just changing his name. It's definitely Jay Leno.
Jay Leno, sorry, Jay Leno. But Jay Leno also appears not only in this episode, of course, but also in the spin-off of Friends, which is called Joey, in the episode that is called Joey and the Tonight Show. That's another episode where Jay Leno appears.
Do you know anything about that episode? Like, is it Joey going on the Tonight Show, or it is Joey's Tonight Show?
Sadly, no. I really want to watch that, but I cannot find it anywhere.
Well, Christine, I tell you, once we're through these 10 years of Friends, then we can move on to Joey. That will be a very short podcast. But
yeah, true.
We'll have to find something else to do. Well, I don't know the rating of Joey, but I do know the rating of tonight's episode. And it was rated as an 8 out of 10 on IMDb. So another solid score.
Yeah, pretty decent. So to continue, Kira, can you give us a brief overview of this episode?
I certainly can. So in today's episode, Monica and Phoebe accidentally put a guy they have a crush on in a coma, while Chandler's mum visits and ends up making out with Ross.
This is such a wild description.
I like to make them spicy. So our episode begins with Phoebe and Monica spotting a very cute guy at the newsstand. Phoebe incites Monica to whistle at him, which leads to him being hit by an oncoming ambulance. Ouch.
First things first. This was actually, I cannot give credit for this. But I read it somewhere and then I checked. And in the street scene, like the very first
You didn't
scene,
see it?
No, I didn't see it. I was looking at them and not at the surroundings.
I had my eagle eye on. I know what you're going to say. And I want to tell you, I saw it.
It's the VD poster of Joey.
It is.
In the background, yeah.
I love that they still had it. Like, it fits the flow of the series, right? The fact that Joey... so this is from... Do you remember which episode it was? Maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure which, the one with where Underdog gets away.
Is it?
But I'm not sure which number that is, but it's the one with the Underdog.
Yeah, and Joey, he applied to
be a model, like Joey/model.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he...
Joey/model.
Yeah.
It was actor/model.
That's what I mean, sorry.
Yeah. And ended up on all of these posters advertising, essentially, does Mario have venereal disease?
Yeah, what Mario isn't telling you. That's the slogan, I think. But
so nice that they kept them up around the city. I did notice that. I also noticed, and now I'm looking at your eyes, Christine, because Monica's in this first opening sequence.
So blue.
So blue.
So blue. I know. I saw it. I was like, oh my god. Like, so pretty.
Yeah.
So pretty.
I know. And after like Dua Lipa this week, I'm just like, everyone is so beautiful.
Yeah. But then, of course, Monica is gorgeous. And I want to talk about Phoebe because what is she wearing?
Of course, the fashion police is here.
She looks like the pigeon lady from Home Alone.
Kind of fits.
Yeah. With the hat and then just all the patterns.
Yeah.
It's just a big mess.
Someone thinks it's a nice hat.
No, I think the guy was talking to Monica because he kind of looks towards her.
Yeah, I also saw that as well. But anyway.
But Phoebe's just gonna take the compliment, I guess.
Well, you know what? I think Phoebe shouldn't have taken the compliment because if you may remember, Christine, in the very last episode, she was madly in love with David.
Yeah.
And now she's just like wolf whistling at this random guy on the street.
I know. She quickly kicked David to the curb.
Aww.
Like, she is so done with him, like so fast. Like, already, like, coma guy is the new one for her.
Well, he's not in a coma yet.
Okay, no, not yet. We don't know his name.
Do you know what? I know that usually when we have like somebody who's going to be a key player in the episode, I like to think of a guest star.
Yeah.
Who I would have in the modern remake of Friends, which is definitely not needed, but in my world, why not? And honestly, I was looking at, we know he's called Coma Guy now, and I couldn't think of anyone. So Christine, just because it's at the top of my mind, I'm going to go out of left field. My guest star as Coma Guy, Dua Lipa.
I love it.
Yes, please. Honestly, she deserves it. Starring role.
Yeah, she deserves it, definitely. But in my opinion, I would choose, I don't know his name, but the guy from Suits.
Okay.
Him.
Aren't there multiple guys in Suits?
Like the main guy.
Is it Patrick somebody? Is it the one married to the girl from Pretty Little Liars?
I have never seen it. I only know his face.
You just picked someone from Suits.
I will show you.
Is it Patrick somebody?
Guy? No, I don't know what's I have a poster.
You have a poster of the guy from Suits. The one that's standing in front. Oh, the one that's standing in front. That's not the one I was thinking of.
That's what I think.
Oh my god, Meghan Markle?
No. Also no. But that's what
the guy from Suits. Excellent.
Yeah, sorry, very vague description, but that's the only hint I had. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, back to Coma Guy. I have to say, if you are going to be hit by a moving vehicle, it might as well be an ambulance, right?
True.
Like, at least we know.
The best option.
Yeah. And who knows what would have happened if he was hit by a regular vehicle? Then maybe he wouldn't have been as lucky to be in a coma. So,
but there is one strange thing about the ambulance is that it's mirrored. Did you notice that? Like, when you see the ambulance coming, it's the ambulance, the word on top of the hood, it's mirrored. So it's not like, I don't know why they did that.
All ambulances are like that.
Are you seriously?
Yeah. It's so when you're looking in your rear mirror, you can see that it's an ambulance.
Oh.
I mean, I think I'm right, but I'm pretty sure every ambulance has it backwards.
I'm gonna look at like when the next ambulance I see, I will check that because it's really interesting.
I love this that you have gone. How many years? 26.
Yeah.
26 years. That's, you know what? I'm happy to share this knowledge with you.
Thank you. I'm a little slow. No, that's what I wrote down because I was like, oh, that's weird, but that makes sense. So thank you for sharing your knowledge.
My pleasure.
So we continue at the hospital where the cute guy or coma guy is now in a coma, and the two girls start to fantasize about him as the most charming of guys.
Well, it would be weird if we were calling him Coma Guy and he wasn't in a coma.
No.
But do you know what? This scene and this whole storyline throughout the episode, it really made me think of a movie called While You Were Sleeping. Have you ever heard of it?
I think I've heard of it, but never seen it. Or
do you know? It comes from that brilliant era of cinema where I think it was like a decade, and they just made hit after hit of rom-coms. There was like When Harry Met Sally, While You Were Sleeping, Sleepless in Seattle. Yeah. Like basically anything with Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks. Mm-hmm. I have seen them all. I love them all. This one has Sandra Bullock, like in her peak era.
Oh, yeah. She's gorgeous.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So many beautiful women. Yeah. But also this movie, I wouldn't say that it's like the best of this genre, but it's nice. It's nice. And it's basically about a guy. I don't remember how he ends up in a coma, but it could be being hit by a train or anything. But anyway, and then, Sandra Bullock thinks that she's in love with him, but then... is she? Or is there somebody else who's better? That's my vague memory of what this movie is about.
Sounds very interesting. I might watch it later.
Oh, wait. I actually have the synopsis right here. So Sandra saves a man from falling, or he falls on the tracks of a Chicago subway, and she ends up visiting him while he's in the hospital in a coma. And coincidentally... this episode that we're talking about today was released just 3 months after that movie came out in 1995.
So it might be like inspired.
No, not at all, because I assume they would have filmed the Friends episode before it came out. So I don't think so.
That's funny. That's interesting.
So yeah, nice that there's these two very similar plots.
Yeah.
And yeah, you should definitely check that out. You got to add it to your list of all these. What's Christine got to watch? She's got to watch Fargo, I Am Legend.
No.
Okay, we'll start you off with While You're Sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will watch that just for you.
Oh, yay.
You're welcome. But when we're talking about movies anyways, I want to talk about Beetlejuice, because I just said that Phoebe reminds me of the pigeon lady from Home Alone. But here you see more of her outfit, and now she kind of reminds me of Beetlejuice.
She reminds you of Well, we can't say that word too many times, right?
No, wait.
I think you've already said it too many.
Yeah, we already said it too many times, but it doesn't matter. But she's wearing like the striped t-shirt underneath all her weird layers. So, and that's like almost like greenish purple, and that's also what the one we don't name anymore also wears, and her hair is also kind of like wild.
Okay.
So she really reminded me of that for some reason.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to say it again, but I'm not scared of saying it, because I think there's already enough creepy things happening in your house with the TikTok man and all of that. So yeah, sure. Invite in every kind of creepy, what is demon? I was going to say the word, but I didn't. Anyway. But my final thoughts on the whole coma guy thing is, obviously Monica and Phoebe are like talking about how amazing he is, and I'm like, ladies, please.
Yeah, it's very delusional.
And I mean, we have already seen both of these women meet in just 10 episodes a bunch of men who, I mean, with the exception of one, right? They all were not the best, and still they go into this hospital room with like, oh my god, he's such an amazing man. Come on.
Yeah, but that's like the hope inside of you or something.
Oh, which has been crushed in both of us. But these, I think, in Friends, hypothetically, they are younger than we are right now. So maybe we just have the experience.
I don't want to know that they're younger than us. That's now I feel really old.
Okay, they're your age.
Okay, that's good-ish. Thanks.
Anyway, back at Monica's apartment, the gang gather round to watch Chandler's mother, Nora Tyler Bing, as the guest on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, or in Christine's world, Lino. Meanwhile, Rachel's boyfriend, Paolo, arrives from abroad too, much to Ross's displeasure.
Sorry.
I want you to know, if you heard silence in the podcast, that was just Christine slowly shaking her head. You need to tell me why.
It's because of Paolo.
Oh, what? Really?
I don't like him. And he's bad.
How can you not like Paolo? No, I mean, he has so much to offer.
No. But I just don't like Paolo. But I am happy that we don't have any Marcel in this episode. Yeah, but we do
any
have...
more what?
Marcel.
Oh.
The monkey. But we do have Paolo.
Okay.
But he luckily doesn't really play a big role in this episode anyways. So that's good.
So they took away one annoying character and they just replaced him with another
one. But he plays a small part in this episode, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, you know, his small part gives much room to Chandler, which I really think he is so funny again in this episode. Of course. He begins, of course, the girls, Monica and Phoebe come in, and then Chandler says, like, are there no conscious men for you in the city? I think that's so, like, he is so right, because they are extremely delusional, but I think he just brings it so well again. I think it's really funny in it. I like Chandler. I don't care. I really like it.
She's literally like combing her hair now, like a little schoolgirl in love. Okay, fair enough. Well, you know, I can't comment on how Chandler is, aside from saying he clearly has some unresolved issues with his mother, which, as we learn, maybe are founded. When Nora first appeared on the screen, I was like, that is exactly what I imagine an erotic writer would look like.
Yeah,
so
with a big hair, blonde, super blonde. So
I think they definitely cast that one well.
Yeah, definitely.
And I have a friend's fact for you.
Ooh, okay.
So this is actually about both of Chandler's parents, and I found out that his parents, Charles and Nora Bing, were named after a film franchise character from a 1934 movie called The Thin Man, and the character was called Nora Charles. So apparently that's where the names came from.
Okay. It sounds like a very creepy movie.
It does, doesn't it?
The Thin Man.
Ooh.
No.
But I think that's as far as the inspiration went. I don't think they were actually based on them.
Nora is not a thin man. I mean, she's gorgeous, but she is.
She's not a thin man.
No, she's a gorgeous woman. Let's just say that. A gorgeous woman, anyway.
Indeed. I would like to know the story of why she got arrested for eating Kung Pao chicken, because that didn't make a lot of sense to me, but you know what?
Maybe... No, I have no theories. I have zero theories.
Good.
But I think Nora is... I really liked her on the show as well, and I think... I really, really think it's funny how, of course, she writes erotic stories, and I really think it's funny that Rachel just, like, openly... says like that she reads smut on planes.
Well, that's becoming more and more common now. I feel like 50 Shades of Grey totally opened people up to that. And now whenever I hear there's a lot of books like that out there, and someone will be like, oh yeah, actually my boss recently said that she was reading a particular book, and I was like, interesting.
Okay, that is interesting.
Not like Nora Bing's kind of books, but still they're known to be a little bit spicy. I was like, okay, I see ya. Okay, get it, girl.
So next we head to a Mexican restaurant where the friends are having dinner with Mrs. Bing. Rachel and Paula are going hard on the PDA, causing Ross to turn to tequila shots to numb the pain. Unfortunately, he gets a little too drunk, confides in Mrs. Bing, and the two end up kissing.
Ooh. Christine's twirling her hair again.
Oh, no. No. I want none of that.
Okay. I have to say, the first shot of this scene was like, unfortunately, it made me aware that I was watching TV. Because of the way the characters were sitting.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know whether you noticed the framing, but because of where the camera was, they had like Chandler and Nora like really close together, and then Monica, Phoebe, Joey all smushed together on one side, and then 3/4 of the table just empty because that's where the camera was looking. I mean, either, maybe they're just getting to know each other better. Maybe Joey's consoling the girls about Coma Guy, and I don't know, Chandler and his mum are reconnecting.
But I just like to talk about like how do you say that, like film techniques,
cinematography,
cinematography. How are you gonna film that? Like, anyways, like having a camera in the middle of the table and just turning around, or like how would that be like a natural setting to create? How do you create like a natural setting in that sense?
I love
like,
how you're asking me, the well-known film expert.
You know a whole bunch, because also the ambulance thing, and maybe you know this too. So
I think nowadays they do it differently. That's all I'll say. It's not quite as obvious. No, maybe you just like focus on particular characters, or they place the camera in a way that doesn't make it look like the majority of the table is empty. Yeah,
this was really like an aquarium view. Really like that. Now I think of it, is it really like one-sided, like the Last Supper, from Jesus. That painting, that was
iconic imagery from Friends. Yeah. Exactly. Just like the one where they're all looking into the grave. Now we have the Last Supper Friends edition.
Oh,
nice.
Great. But I do want to say that Nora's suit is so cute. Like, it was, do you remember what it looked like?
Not at all.
It was a black suit, and then with like little squares with different colors on it, like here and somewhere here.
Wait, it does ring a bell. Yeah.
That was like I do like all her outfits. It's like very posh mom vibes. That's what she gives me.
Definitely.
I really like her. She's really like weird, but also fun or something. Like a cool mom.
But do you want her as your mother?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No, thank you.
Well, of course, here we also have Rachel and your favorite character, Paolo, just going over the top. I have to say, even for me, that was too much. So I can totally understand why Ross is, maybe feeling like he needs to escape. And actually, friends fact, Christine, this is the first time Ross is drunk in the series.
Oh.
So you remember we had, way at the beginning, we had the girls getting drunk on the balcony.
Yeah,
but this is Ross's turn. And
we did see him once high from the pills.
Oh yeah,
when he tweeted
that's true.
back.
Yeah.
But never drunk. So
not until today.
A new character has unlocked.
Well, he definitely. I think maybe he goes a bit too hard on the alcohol.
Yeah.
I really liked it where before it was even drawn attention to, you could see that Ross is coming out of the Chica's bathroom.
Yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, as well. And when does anyone want me to appraise anything? And he's holding the shot glass against his eye. Really funny. And I also think like the moment when Nora and Ross like kiss, then he says like, uh-oh, like right before. Aww. And I think that's so cute as well.
You know what? Up until that point, I thought Mrs. Bing was a nice lady. Like she was actually genuinely being very pleasant to Ross, like
super nice.
Calling him a hero, a main character. We got another funny line when, she was trying to console him and saying like, I have sold 100 million copies of my books. And you know why? Because, she's trying to tell Ross that he's the hero. And he's like, the girl on the cover with her nipples showing? No, Ross. That's so just cute. You. But then, when they kissed, I was like, Mrs. Bing.
Yeah. Jeez. And then also, like, Joey's reaction, like, I'll just be in the street.
Which is a very Joey reaction.
Yeah, that's a very Joey reaction, but really funny.
Well, friends fact for you, Christine. According to the DVD features about this episode, Morgan Fairchild, who plays Nora Bing, reveals that originally Ross and Mrs. Bing were going to do a lot more than just kiss on the lips.
That's too much for me. I don't want that. No.
Yeah, I think they made the right decision, keeping it fairly PG.
Yeah, I think that's way better in this case, yeah.
Well, we move on to the following day when Ross tries to explain everything to Joey, who's mad at Ross for breaking the code, and also apparently for not thinking that his mum is as attractive as Mrs. Bing. Interesting logic there, Joey.
But I love the discussion he has with Ross, and then also later on in the episode where he's like showing pictures of his mom during their wedding day, and he just has to imagine her not pregnant. Stuff like that, and just like trying to convince Ross that his mom is hot. It's weird, but also like very cute in a way. Like standing up for his mom is kind of like I don't know, sweet.
Who's the hottest mom? Yeah,
I don't think it is. What's her name? Like Joey's mom. Do we know her name?
Mrs. Tribbiani.
Mrs. Tribbiani.
I want to say Gloria. That's what I have in my head.
Ooh, that could be true actually. I don't know. Anyway,
we'll find out later in the series.
Yeah, but
stay tuned.
The point is, I don't think she's the prettiest mom.
Aww.
I think Nora is
hey, you're not going for Judy?
No. I'm sorry, but no.
Brutal.
Sorry.
Well, I am just smashing through my friends facts today because I also have 2 for this particular scene. So
I'm loving it.
Joey is going off about how you should never kiss, basically anyone who's related to you. So first of all, the main argument that he makes is that you should never kiss your friend's mum. Joey, as we will discover in the following season, he doesn't seem to have a problem with that. I'm not going to spoil whose mother he kisses, but I will say that in that case it was as a distraction instead of as actual romantic interest. Ooh.
Oh, right. I remember now.
Remember.
I was like, who is she talking about? But now I remember.
So he does kiss one of his friend's mums. And then he also says that you should never kiss your friend's mum, but sisters and hot aunts are okay.
And that's
However, in a later episode, he gets mad at one of his friends for kissing his sister.
Yeah, but I don't want to spoil anything about that episode, but I do think there is a reason. That was not a normal kiss, because the person that kissed the sister also said some stuff, I think, so I'm not gonna spoil anything.
No, I love that. Yeah. Thank you, Christine.
So when we get there, I'll explain more, but I do... see the reason why those things are 2 different things.
Okay, so you're Team Joey here.
Yeah, but I don't agree because he says, I have 2 sides. And he says like a sister might be okay, like we discussed, but then of course Well, of course, Chandler kisses the sister of...
Spoiler alert.
Oh. I was so good. I was so
you
good.
You were so good at not doing any spoilers.
Now I spoiled the biggest... Nah, everyone knows this already. But of course, Chandler kissed Monica. Ooh. But if that's the bro code, then why is Chandler so... No, why is Ross so angry at that point in the series?
I have no idea. I think when it happens to you, it's a different story, right?
Maybe. No, I wouldn't mind. Would you mind? Do you have a sister?
I do not have a sister.
Do you have a brother?
I do.
Would you mind if you're a friend of yours...
I prefer not to think about it.
I wouldn't mind per se.
Yeah?
No, I if they're in love, it's fine.
Well, Christine's sisters, if you're listening to this podcast, go get it, girls.
So, meanwhile, Phoebe and Monica's game of who cares for the coma guy the most reaches obsessive levels with plans, balloons, and even pajama changes taking place. So that's weird.
Well, I have to, yes, I am not going to argue with you there. That was very, very weird. Ladies, no.
No. But I'm actually impressed. Like, how did they do that even? Because it's a big man.
I don't think we want to know. Teamwork.
No, she did it alone. Monica did it alone.
True.
So,
yeah, but come on, Monica, I think modern day Monica would definitely go to CrossFit.
Yeah, she is freakishly strong.
Freakishly
That's
strong.
mentioned like one time somewhere.
Well, there you go. Then why are you surprised?
Yeah, actually, no. I take my statement back. Sorry.
Good.
But you wanted to say something, sorry.
Well, no, I was going to say, we were talking about cinematography a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. And I do have to give massive props to the whole Friends behind the scenes team, because they did so much for this small montage just to show like how crazy the girls are, and you see them coming in and out of his hospital room. At one point, Monica's bringing like an entire tree in. There's
insane.
Balloons. It's just, I thought that was very well done, and it really, in just the space of a few seconds, showed us okay, this is not a normal way to react.
They're really obsessive, and also like the stuff they bring in, like the etch a sketch,
yeah.
Like, who is gonna use that? The guy is in a coma. Like, what is he gonna do? Nothing. So
well,
it's
I think some people in comas, they can, like, I don't know, maybe I'm making this up, but they can move like their finger.
But they have
ever so slightly.
They have their eyes closed, so what are they gonna do?
You don't know, Christine, what he can do. Maybe he's the former Etch-a-Sketch world champion, and he can do it with his feet.
Yeah, who knows? And can he? No, it doesn't make sense. But I was like, he can write messages, but if he can write messages, he's awake.
Or is he?
I don't know how it works, but not in this world, no.
Well, honestly, I was genuinely surprised, based on what we know about Phoebe and her singing and guitar playing, how that did not wake him up from a coma.
That's
is beyond
a good point.
me. So, if that can't wake him up, nothing's going to.
No, he will be there forever.
Forever. Well, anyway, we move on to Chandler's apartment, where Ross tries to lie about the kiss and say that it was actually Paolo who was the one kissing his mum, only to finally come clean, causing firstly Chandler and then Joey to storm out of the apartment. So not a good day for Ross.
No, not a good day, no. But did you see another eagle eye moment? Did you see the two kangaroos boxing in the back? There was like a poster in the back next to the bathroom. I
did not see two kangaroos boxing. From my recollection, it was a kangaroo boxing a man.
Really? Oh, maybe I didn't take a good look. I will.
One of our
again.
eagle eyes is not very...
Sorry.
I don't know. It could be me. It could have been two. Two kangaroos boxing would make more sense, but I'm pretty... Well, when I looked at the poster, I thought I saw a man. But I saw a lot of weird things in that apartment.
Yeah, also the clown jar.
I wrote horrendous clown head.
Yeah.
So we both
Gorgeous.
saw that. I also saw by the fridge, I think there were like two little anime characters.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Cute. And then we have, there was the weird, I think it was a Russian poster of the kangaroo boxing a man, or some kind of language I didn't recognize. And then also, they love their French posters in this series, because we also have Les Mystères de New York.
Oh, right, in the back next to Chandler's bedroom, right? It was next to Chandler's?
I don't have the blueprints to their apartment, so I'll take
I know it from...
And yet you don't know if it was two kangaroos or not, Christine.
Sorry. Oh my God.
But I have to say, one of my favorite quotes from this whole episode was when Ross is talking about Chandler's mother, and he's like, Nora, Mrs. Mum, I mean, you're Bing.
Yeah.
Like, yes, let's go through all of them.
Yeah, I also wrote that down. I think that's like so iconic, really funny, and really shows his panic at that moment as well. I think it's really funny. And I really love when Ross is lying, of course, about Paolo kissing Nora instead of him. How Joey is so angrily like making a sandwich, like not even looking at a sandwich, just like looking at Ross, like. It was so funny. I really like love that how they did that like an angry mom or something. I don't know.
Aww.
It was really funny. So I really
Joey does give off angry mom vibes.
Yeah,
so.
He could be a great parent, I think. But I'm not sure.
We'll never know.
We'll never know, sadly. To move on, this episode continues at Central Perk, where Rachel is trying her first attempt at writing Mrs. Bing-inspired erotica. Monica and Phoebe's rift continues, while Chandler ices out Ross, the mother kisser.
Ooh, yeah. Look, we're getting even better at reading these little captions I write. I told you I love to add the spice. You got to put them in. So we're almost at the end of the Friends episode now, and I cannot believe that it took us this long to get to Central Perk. Like, usually we're there way earlier in the episode, but they were like, no, let's take them to every other location. And then I was like, thank goodness. We find it. I feel like I'm home now.
Yeah, they are coffee addicts. So how did they even manage that?
That's true.
It's strange.
Too busy going around kissing mothers. So
maybe. And oh my God, I loved. No, I don't. I didn't love. I was horrified by Rachel's book saying his love stick can be liberated from his denim prison.
Honestly, great writing.
No.
Great writing. Love stick, denim prison.
It's
I would
horrible.
read that.
I really hate it. I would never read that, no.
I wonder whether this was the inspiration for... Oh, no, wait. That Lady Gaga song. I think it's Poker Face. But then it's a... You want to take a ride on my... It's a disco stick, I think.
Yeah, it's a disco stick. But a disco stick.
Dang it. Yeah, love stick is worse. Love stick is worse. Yeah, I'll give you that. Ew.
But I'm a very visual person. So if I imagine... No, it's not even gross. If I imagine love stick, I see like a very pretty pink stick with a little heart on top.
That's exactly what Rachel is describing.
No, she is not.
Okay, moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Friends fact, Christine, this is the first time we find out, I think it's Rachel's full name. So I don't know whether before this point we even knew her surname.
I'm not sure.
Because at the beginning we knew Barry's, but I don't know whether we knew Rachel's. And we also find out her middle name in this episode. So we discover her name is Rachel Karen Green.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but...
This is before the era of Karen.
Yeah, close.
So it's okay.
True.
And also in this scene, we have a song, Christine.
Which one is it again?
It's Phoebe's song.
Oh... About the man... Wait, I wrote it down, I think.
Of course you did. It's time for your karaoke.
No, I didn't write it down. Do you have the lyrics?
I don't remember the melody, so you might have to help me out. You don't have to be awake to be my man.
You don't
as long as you have
brainwaves, I'll be there to hold your hand.
Though we met
the
just
other
the
day,
other day, there's something I have got to say.
It goes up. My singing is really bad today. Sorry, you guys. Sorry for your ears.
I think that was our worst karaoke session.
Yeah, because I don't really know it by heart because it's not a great song.
It's not an iconic number.
No,
okay, that's fair enough. We'll come back with some better singing next time, I promise. But yeah, look, I am a full Phoebe fan right here, but I do have to say, Phoebe, you cannot start a song with "You don't have to be awake to be my man."
That is so messed up in so many ways.
You do.
Yeah.
You do have to be awake. Please be awake.
Yeah, this was the point where I really realized like how delusional these girls are. Like, just stop. Like really fighting about him, and of course, you don't have to be my man to be. You don't have to be awake to be my man. No. Please, no. That's really like delusional, like really making up a man that doesn't even exist. Maybe.
Oh, he does exist.
He does exist.
Yeah.
Like,
but the version of him that they want. Yes.
Yeah, that's
very strange. So there's a lot of interesting character decisions in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, there are many like interesting and weird character developments in this little scene. And I really like, but what I did really like is how Monica, of course, during the song kind of slowly starts sneaking out, like very unsuspiciously.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, Phoebe boots after her, which is really funny.
The guy, well, as far as we know, he's still in a coma. I think it's not going to matter how fast they run.
No, it really doesn't matter.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
But anyway, we also head on to the hospital, and lo and behold, coma guy has woken up. Monica and Phoebe try to explain that they've been taking care of him, but they don't exactly get the response they were hoping for. As if none of us could have predicted that.
No, but so I agree. The man, I would be creeped out so badly if there were like two random ladies in my room and they had brought me like random gifts and had changed my pajamas. I would be so freaked out by that. Like,
I actually thought he was very polite in this scene. Like, he did thank them.
Yeah.
What more do you... Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, what more do you want? They clearly want a lot more. But I'm like, that's an appropriate response for people who have been looking after you while you were in a coma, who you've never met before.
Yeah, but then I think, like, they took care of you. And I agree that it's very creepy. But then maybe just ask them for, like, dinner just to thank them or something. He says, like, well, thanks. So... I'll guess I'll see you later. I'll see you around. That's what he says. And that's just a slap in the face.
But I don't know whether you would quite realize like the extent to which people had been helping you. You know?
No, true. But then
because you're in a coma, like you're not aware that they're doing all of these nice things. Maybe you just think like, oh, well, that sounds nice. Thanks. But you don't have any like visceral reaction to it. Whereas if you hurt yourself and you're conscious and somebody helps you, you know how much they've done for you.
True.
Whereas they're just saying it, and that doesn't quite hit the same.
Yeah. That might also be it. I don't know. I understand the guy, and I also understand the girls for being so angry.
I don't understand the girls. I still think they're crazy. So.
Okay, yeah, they are a little bit crazy. That's definitely true. But finally, this episode ends with Chandler building up the courage to confront his mom about the kiss, along with many other aspects in which he has fallen short as a mother. Afterwards, Rachel shares the first chapter of her erotica, only for the gang to mock her for her poor typing skills.
Aww.
Poor Rachel, but never finish that book, please.
Oh, sad. You know what? Honestly, I'm curious. To read it. I was hooked from the love stick and the den in prison. I'm like, you know what? Just also for banter, Christine, do you not think that would be fun to read out on the podcast?
Yeah, that would be super funny. But like, if someone is like seriously writing, like in real life, we know someone that is seriously writing a erotica and calling. Are you telling me something?
Find out.
Okay, well, we'll get to that later, maybe, if that's true. But just imagine if someone is literally like seriously writing a book and calling a male genitalia a love stick. No.
Let her live her dreams.
Yeah,
Look, okay.
I would support her, but silently maybe judge her a little bit.
Sorry. Well, at least you're silently judging her. That's definitely not what the friends do at all with anyone. They're just like, we don't like what you're doing, and we're going to tell you about it. But I mean, come on. I have to say, you know, being devil's advocate for Rachel, her life is still a bit of a mess, right? You know, she got cut off from the family finances. She's working as a waitress, which is firstly probably not a very fulfilling job for her. Mm-hmm. And she's terrible at it. Like, she finds one thing that she wants to do. Maybe she's not good at it, but let her do it.
Yeah, true. But is she even the right person for writing erotica? Because the strangest place she had sex was the foot of the bed. The foot of the bed.
Yes, and that's why she's the perfect person, because she has to...
She has a wild
write
dreams.
down her fantasies or whatever.
I don't know. I would support her. And
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, look, if I get a signed copy of, what was this one called?
Wasn't it something with Undone or?
Yeah, we find out earlier in the episode it's called, I think, A Woman Undone.
Right, now I remember.
Look, that's giving me Bridgerton vibes.
A Woman Undone. What does undone mean?
Well, Christine, that's up for your imagination to find out.
That she's a mess. No?
Or, undone by her feelings. Like, I've
oh.
let loose.
Okay. Yeah,
You know what? Now,
sense.
after having said that, I don't want to read it.
Oh. I think it brings it in a more subtle, less in-your-face way.
Mm-hmm,
So I think
which is
good.
exactly what Love Stick and Den in Prison is doing.
Yeah,
So
I don't like that.
well, we also have resolution of Chandler's side of the story here. I have to say, good on Chandler. He was going to let it drop with his mum, but then he was like, nope, I'm going to tell you everything I don't like. So at least we have one person standing up to their mother, since we know somebody else is not very good at that. Monica, looking at you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but I'm not sure what it's exactly about. Like, what was the fight about exactly?
I don't know. I feel like maybe she wasn't there for him as a child. I mean, look, you can tell from Chandler's personality that he clearly, as I said at the beginning, has some unresolved issues, some past trauma. So I'm sure they have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, probably. No, I was thinking, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, definitely they probably have like...
No, I see you, Christine. You're twirling your hair again. You're just thinking about Chandler. I have to say, my final thoughts on this entire episode, I mean, to put it simply, Monica and Phoebe, crazy.
Crazy. Okay, great.
Completely.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to see more of Mrs. Bing. I thought she was an interesting character. I think that she can... Yeah, it's a new element to the story, and I think we learn a lot about the other characters from their interaction with her. So I hope she comes back.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I really liked her. So I also wrote down that the girls are, at least Monica and Phoebe are crazy.
Why do you keep getting that wrong today?
Yeah, the girls are crazy, but I do like Nora. And one final thing, I loved the outfit of Rachel in the last scene. She was wearing garden trousers, with the buckles here.
Okay, like
straps.
dungarees.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but then the bottoms were not pants, but like they were like a skirt.
Ooh.
In like burgundy red, which was very pretty.
Aww.
So I did like that as like a final ending of the episode, and just a fun episode. I hope to see more of Nora, like you said. So
Okay,
good.
and more guest starring attempts from Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We certainly hope that you listeners enjoyed it as much as we did.
I sure did. So don't forget to tune in next time, where we'll be chatting about season 1, episode 12, the one with the dozen lasagnas.
Well, Christine, I think we're definitely going to have at least some cookies or something to eat, because I cannot watch an episode called the one with a dozen lasagnas without a few snacks along the way.
Sure, of course. I'll take care of it. So if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you are listening this on. And please leave us a rating or review. This really helps others to find our show as well.
Yes, thank you already to everybody who's given us a 5-star review. We are currently rated 5 stars across all platforms. So please, if you want to help us keep that score, give us a review. And as always, thank you for listening. And hey, if you want to send us an even longer review, your thoughts on the episode, any Friends trivia, or you just want to tell us what socks you're wearing or how you're doing today, Christine and I absolutely love receiving your messages. So don't forget to drop us a line on Instagram at FOFPodOfficial, or
through our email, which is fofpodofficial@gmail.com. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, take care, and I'll just say, keep those love sticks in your pants, please. See you next time.
bye!
2